Now, Mumbai has around 4 lakh children in the age group of 12 to 14 years, but only 124 of them were vaccinated on the first day of their vaccinations. On Thursday too, the turnout was similar. Now the state government is appealing to parents to ensure that their kids take the vaccine. On the first day of vaccination for the 12 to 14 age group, the turnout was low. Only 124 children between the ages of 12 and 14 in Mumbai took the first dose. There are about 4 lakh children in this age group in the city who are eligible for the Corbevax vaccine.
पूरे मुंबई में देखा जाए तो 100-150 कुछ तो वैक्सीनेशन हुआ है कल स्टार्ट होने के बाद, तो रिस्पांस तो उतना नहीं है। मुझे लगता है कि जो बच्चों के एग्जाम्स वगैरह चालू है या स्कूल चालू है, उनका टाइमिंग या स्कूल का और ये उसकी वजह से हो सकता है कि उनका रिस्पांस इतना नहीं है। जब एग्जाम्स वगैरह होंगे या मतलब 7-8 दिन के बाद मे भी उसका काउंट बढ़ जाएगा। और लोगों ने मतलब पेरेंट्स ने भी समझना चाहिए कि हर एक बच्चे को 12 to 14 कैटेगरी में उनको वैक्सीनेशन उनका होना चाहिए।
Exams are a major reason for the poor turnout, but apart from this, there are some people who are afraid to get children vaccinated.
डर है दिलों में क्योंकि बहुत सारे बच्चों की डेथ हुई है इस चीज़ को लेके, तो एक कहीं ना कहीं दिल में डर है।
ऐसा तो कुछ डर नहीं है। दूसरा क्या है, स्कूल चालू हो गए तो अभी बच्चे सब स्कूल है, कुछ लोगों के एग्जाम है, इसके वजह से नहीं ले पा रहे, लेकिन कुछ लोग समझ रहे, अगर समझ लिए अच्छे से तो लेना चाहिए।
In the Maharashtra Assembly, the state government has shared worrying data on children. 8,584 children under the age of 5 died in Maharashtra between February and August 2021 during the second wave of COVID. The highest was 923 deaths in Nagpur, followed by 792 in Mumbai. 587 children died in Aurangabad, 422 in Pune and 417 in Nashik. However, the cause of death has not been explained in the statement made in the assembly. Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar has warned citizens not to take COVID lightly in view of the rising cases in some countries. He stressed on increasing the pace of vaccination.
15 पेक्षा जास्त महत्त्वाची शहरं लॉकडाऊन झालेली आहेत। तो आजार बाहेर पुन्हा वाढू नये, चौथी लाट येऊ नये हीच आपली सगळ्यांची इच्छा आहे। आणि त्याकरता केंद्र सरकारपासून पार राज्याच्या पर्यंत महानगरपालिका नगरपालिका सगळ्यांनीच आपापल्या परीने काम केलं। आपण जास्तीत जास्त त्याच्यामध्ये लसीकरण करण्याचा प्रयत्न केला। अजूनही काही जण लसीकरणाच्या बाबतीमध्ये म्हणावासा प्रतिसाद देत नाही। ग्रामीण भागामध्ये फिरत असताना लोक थोडंसं आता ते गंभीरतेने घेत नाहीयेत ही वस्तुस्थिती आहे। पण आपण लोकप्रतिनिधी म्हणून त्यांना समजावून सांगण्याची नितांत गरज आहे।
In other districts of Maharashtra, only a few children have turned up at the vaccination centers. The challenge before the administration is to bring people to the vaccination center once again, especially vulnerable children who have returned to school. With Pooja Bhardwaj in Mumbai, Bureau Report, NDTV. All right, now let's shift focus to Ukraine. At least 21 people were killed and 25 were injured as Russian forces shelled a town in eastern Ukraine. Artillery fire hit a school and a cultural center in the town of Mariupol outside the city of Kharkiv. Meanwhile, hundreds of civilians are feared trapped inside a theater which has been smashed by a Russian airstrike in Mariupol. As the Russia-Ukraine war enters week 4 and the horror and the devastation unfolds, the US president described Vladimir Putin as a war criminal. Kremlin called Biden's comments unacceptable and unforgivable rhetoric. President Putin is expected to speak to China's Xi Jinping on Friday, where Ukraine war will come up for discussion.
As the Russia-Ukraine war enters its 4th week, the war of words between world leaders escalating significantly. For the first time, US President Joe Biden called Vladimir Putin a war criminal.
Oh, I think he is a war criminal.
Moscow was swift in its condemnation, calling Biden's comments unacceptable and unforgivable. And Putin, in a chilling and televised threat, warning that he would cleanse Russia of the scum and traitors who he accused of working covertly for the US and its allies.
Но любой народ, а тем более российский народ, всегда сможет отличить истинных патриотов от подонков и предателей и просто выплюнет их, как случайно залетевшую в рот мушку, выплюнет на панель. Убежден, такое естественное и необходимое самоочищение общества только укрепит нашу страну.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky continued to rally support. He was welcomed with a standing ovation by the German parliament, where Zelensky, in an emotional address, urged Germany to help destroy a new wall Russia was erecting in Europe, a wall between freedom and captivity.
За 3 тижні війни, за наше життя, за нашу свободу, ми переконались у тому, що відчували раніше, і що ви, напевно, поки що не всі помічаєте, але ви ніби знов за стіною. Так, не берлінською, але посеред Європи, між свободою і неволею. І стіна ця міцніше з кожною бомбою, яка падає на нашу землю, на Україну. З кожним рішенням, яке не приймається заради миру, не приймається, хоча може допомогти.
Ukrainian authorities accused Russians of attacking a theater in the besieged city of Mariupol, where civilians had taken shelter. Russia denied the attack. But shocking satellite imagery of the situation in Ukraine, perhaps the clearest direct evidence of the destruction of Ukraine's cities and residential centers, continues to pour in. What you see here is a before and after comparison of the city of Volnovakha, which shows extensive damage to buildings near the train station. This is another set of before and after images of damaged homes and buildings in Volnovakha. This image is from Cherniv and shows burning homes in a residential area. This image, also from Cherniv, shows large craters and damaged homes at the Olympic Sports Training Center. And finally, these images from Kherson show destroyed Russian helicopters on the tarmac in a major counter-attack by Ukrainian forces on the Kherson airfield, which Russian forces had captured.
Российские войска терпят такие потери в Украине, каких не было в Сирии, не было в Чечне, не было и у советских войск в Афганистане. Если ваша война против украинского народа будет продолжаться еще, мамы России потеряют больше детей, чем в афганской и чеченских войнах вместе взятых.
Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden has announced $1 billion in new security help and the deployment of longer-range weapons to Ukraine, a move that has been welcomed by Zelensky. An NDTV Bureau report.
Meanwhile, the government of India has said that 15 to 20 Indians are still stuck in the war-torn country and want to be evacuated. The rescue efforts are not over yet. That's what the Ministry of External Affairs said today.
हमारा असेसमेंट तो यही है कि 15 से 20 लोग अभी हैं जो निकलना चाहते हैं, बाकी लोग वहाँ हैं वो अभी निकलना नहीं चाहते हैं, और जितना संभव हो सके हम उनकी सहायता दे रहे हैं. अब युद्ध का माहौल है, पर जितना हो सके हम करते रहेंगे इनको निकालने की कोई तरीका निकले. हम जानते हैं कुछ और लोग हैं खेरसौन में, पर वो अगर इस रूट को लेना चाहेंगे और अगर ये रूट ओपन रहा, तो उस समय था कभी, उस समय उन्होंने नहीं निकलना चाहते थे, तो हम कोशिश करते रहेंगे. और अगर वेस्टर्न साइड पे रूट से निकल सकते हैं, वेस्टर्न बॉर्डर से, वो भी है. तो ऑपरेशन गंगा बहुत लोग कह रहे हैं कि बंद हो गई, ऐसी बात नहीं है. जो भी वहां फंसे हुए हैं और जो नागरिक हैं जो निकलना चाहते हैं, हम उनको मदद करे जा रहे हैं हमारी एम्बेसी के.
The big political story, the core group of Congress's G23 dissidents met again at the home of senior leader Ghulam Nabi Azad on Thursday evening, their second gathering in 24 hours. Among those who attended were Kapil Sibal, Anand Sharma and Bhupinder Hooda. The meet was likely a feedback session with Mr. Hooda meeting Rahul Gandhi earlier on Thursday. Arvind Gunasekar has more.
Within 24 hours, the dissident or the G23 group had the second meeting here at the residence of Ghulam Nabi Azad. The core group of the G23 or the dissident group, consisting of Kapil Sibal, Anand Sharma, Bhupinder Singh Hooda, had a hour-long meeting with Ghulam Nabi Azad. What our sources part of G23 are telling NDTV is that this is an attempt of the G23 to keep the pressure intact on the Congress leadership in order to act on the reforms of the Congress party. After the 3-hour-long meeting on Wednesday evening, the dissident group issued a detailed statement wherein they had asked for a collective and inclusive leadership in all the decision-making levels. So this, what we are being told is that in today's meeting here at the residence of Ghulam Nabi Azad, the core group of G23 took stock of the situation, also to look into the developments that have taken place in the last 24 hours. What we are also being told is that such meetings by the G23 in small groups will happen very often in the coming days in order to keep the pressure intact on the Congress leadership. Also, very interesting development took place earlier in the day wherein Bhupendra Singh Hooda, who was part of the G23, who did attend the last dinner meeting here at Ghulam Nabi Azad, met Rahul Gandhi, and that particular meeting went on for almost 1 hour. Though Congress sources say that this particular meeting between Bhupendra Singh Hooda and Rahul Gandhi was Haryana specific, but what our sources are saying is that both the leaders did discuss the overall picture of the Congress party, and the discussion that happened between Bhupendra Singh Hooda and Rahul Gandhi was in turn conveyed by Bhupendra Singh Hooda with Ghulam Nabi Azad, and that was also discussed in this core group of the G23. With camera person Sudhir Ram, this is Arvind Gunasekar for NDTV.
And speaking to NDTV, senior Congress leader P. Chidambaram said that Congress is ready to be a junior partner in alliances with the Trinamool Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party to defeat the BJP in 2024.
Just to look ahead to 2024, which the Prime Minister claims is a done deal, do you believe that the Congress's space in any opposition alliance has shrunk as a result of what has happened in these assembly polls? There is going to be now greater jostling for who the opposition's face could be. Mamata Banerjee is front and center of that. Now Arvind Kejriwal fancies his chances. Therefore, would the Congress, you think, have to make more adjustments in any anti-BJP alliance?
Of course, every party has to make adjustments. What you said about the Congress having to make adjustments applies to Ms. Mamata Banerjee and Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. You see, as I see 2024, it may or may not be a done deal in Mr. Modi's point of view, but I think we are ready for the fight. What outcome the fight will yield, I can't say, but we are ready for the fight. But the fight will be state by state. See, our national election is really a state-by-state election. For example, in Tamil Nadu, we will fight with the DMK in the leadership position. Similarly, in Bengal, we would have to fight with the Trinamool Congress in the leadership position. In Punjab and Delhi, the AAP would have to be in the leadership position. If you fight the BJP state by state, it's possible to defeat the BJP in several states.
Now, Akhilesh Yadav of Samajwadi Party and Jayant Chaudhary of the RLD fought the election together in West UP, but the result did not go in their favour. Jayant Chaudhary spoke to NDTV on the reasons behind the defeat and the road ahead to 2024.
So, Jayant Chaudhary, looking ahead then at 2024, do you think it's a done deal like the Prime Minister says, or is there really going to be a fight when you have Mr. Modi on one hand and the rest of the opposition on the other? Doesn't it make it much more difficult for the opposition?
If the opposition can organize itself and create a coherent sort of set of issues, and we go with that to the public and hit the road, there is no reason why people who voted for BJP today will not change.
But
if you look at the state of the economy, look at unemployment, look at agrarian distress.
But it won't matter that in a personality contest there are just too many people in the opposition camp and only one Narendra Modi.
It's good to have a number of leaders. Even BJP has a lot of leaders. They make it about just one man. It isn't about one man. Governments are not run by one man. And so I think we need to counter them. There will be a lot of anti-incumbency. There are a number of MPs who have won, who are part of BJP, and people are dissatisfied with the MP's performance. We need to target them on localized issues. We need to target them on national policy, and there will be a way. As for RLD, I want to create a new organization. I have no baggage.
Now, Punjab's new Chief Minister, Aam Aadmi Party's Bhagwant Mann, announced the launch of an anti-corruption helpline on Thursday. Mr. Mann, who took oath a day earlier and promised that he would not waste a day, said that the helpline number will be launched on the 23rd of March, the birth anniversary of freedom fighter Bhagat Singh.